The last haul. Spinner's Ridge was a forgotten town nestled deep in the Appalachian Mountains, where the wind never stopped howling and shadows seemed to have a life of their own. The only way in or out was a treacherous road carved into the cliffs, notorious for black ice and landslides. Local legends whispered of travelers who vanished without a trace, their screams carried off by the wind. Bryce McAllister had heard the stories, but they were just that, stories. A long-haul trucker like him didn't have time for ghost tales. On this December night, Bryce had picked up a mysterious last-minute load from a warehouse near Spinner's Ridge. The dispatcher offered double pay for a hush-hush delivery. The crate was enormous, steel-plated, and stamped with classified in peeling black letters. It emitted a faint metallic stench, like blood and rust. Creepy, Bryce muttered, lighting a cigarette as he started the climb toward Spinner's Ridge. The snowstorm began just as he hit the pass, flurries swirling in his headlights. The road twisted and turned, barely wide enough for his 18-wheeler. Bryce's hands gripped the wheel tighter as the wind howled, rattling the cab like a beast trying to break in. His CB radio crackled to life. "Any drivers out tonight?" The voice was low and raspy, like wind scraping over gravel. Bryce hesitated, then grabbed the mic. "Yeah, just me. You lost or something?" The voice crackled again, distorted. "Not lost. Just looking for company." Bryce chuckled uneasily, shaking off the prickle crawling up his neck. "Well, you got me. Where you headed?" The reply came sharp and clear. "Right behind you." Bryce's heart thudded. He glanced in his mirrors but saw only the swirling snow. For a moment he thought he spotted two pinpricks of light, headlights, hovering in the distance, but they vanished almost as soon as he noticed them. The crate in the trailer thumped loudly, jolting him back to reality. "Damned thing better not shift," Bryce grumbled, his unease growing. As he rounded a sharp curve, his headlights illuminated something in the road ahead. A figure stood motionless in the middle of the lane, cloaked in black, their face obscured by a deep hood. Bryce slammed on the brakes. The truck skidded, tires screaming against the icy asphalt. His pulse raced as he leaned out the window. "Hey, you trying to get yourself killed?" The figure raised a hand, pale and thin, pointing to the back of the truck. "Open it," they whispered, the voice identical to the one from the CB. Bryce felt his breath catch, a cold sweat breaking out on his skin. "You get away from my rig!" he shouted, slamming the gas. The figure didn't move as he swerved past. In his mirrors, they remained standing in the road, unmoving, their silhouette swallowed by the storm. The crate thumped again, louder this time, followed by a scraping sound like nails dragging against metal. Bryce's stomach churned, his thoughts racing. The power died suddenly. The headlights went out, the dashboard dimmed, and the engine sputtered to silence. The truck coasted to a stop in the middle of the desolate road. Bryce sat frozen, his breath visible in the freezing cab. "Damn it," he hissed, fumbling for a flashlight. Outside, the wind screamed, shaking the truck like a toy. Snow blanketed the windshield, thick and unyielding, leaving him in near-total darkness. He stepped out, boots crunching on the snow-covered asphalt. The cold bit through his jacket, and the wind carried a sound, faint but unmistakable, whispering. He circled to the trailer, flashlight trembling in his grip. The crate loomed before him, its surface frosted over. The thumping had stopped, replaced by a faint rattling, like chains straining under pressure. As Bryce reached for the lock, the whispering grew louder, transforming into a guttural growl. A voice hissed behind him, so close it sent shivers down his spine. "You shouldn't have come here." Spinning around, Bryce's flashlight beam landed on the hooded figure from the road. Their face was no longer obscured. Hollow sockets stared back at him, and their mouth stretched impossibly wide, filled with jagged, broken teeth. The flashlight slipped from his grasp as the figure lunged. Bryce scrambled backward, his back slamming against the trailer. He yanked the lock off the crate, desperate for anything to save him. The lid creaked open, releasing a wave of putrid air. Inside was a man, or what had once been one. Its skin was gray and rotting, stretched tight over skeletal features. Chains bound its limbs, but its glowing yellow eyes snapped open, locking onto Bryce. "You freed me," it spoke, its voice a chorus of agony and rage. The chains snapped like twigs as it rose to its full, towering height. The hooded figure cackled, their laughter echoing over the howling wind. "He's yours now. Good luck." The creature lunged, its icy grip locking onto Bryce. He screamed, clawing at its hands, but it dragged him into the crate. The lid slammed shut with a deafening clang, silencing his cries. Moments later, the truck roared to life. The headlights flickered on, and the 18-wheeler began its descent towards Spinner's Ridge, its cab eerily empty. Days later, the truck was found parked at a gas station just outside Spinner's Ridge. Bryce was at the wheel, grinning. His eyes glowed a sickly yellow, and his skin had turned ashen. Travelers now tell of a phantom trucker on the Spinner's Ridge Pass. His rig appears out of nowhere, following too close, its horn blaring like a death knell. Those foolish enough to stop report seeing Bryce's grinning face in the cab. And if you're unlucky enough to encounter him, you might find yourself in his trailer, bound, trapped, and waiting for the next driver to free you.